4:34 p.m. is an auspicious time because the Gematria of 434 is Mashiach ben David. That is, if David is spelled with a yud as it is in the Book of Chronicles. And that idea brings me to explain what's going on in this video. I'm not sure exactly what to call it yet, other than Taiku. As many know, Taiku is an unresolved question. Whenever there's a discussion about some topic, a halachic debate or a question, and there's no answer, then the Talmud Bavli, I believe. I don't think there's any Taikus in Yerushalmi, but I could be mistaken. I heard people saying that, but I'm not sure now. But Taiku means that let this question stand unresolved until the coming of Messiah. And that is an acronym because Elijah the prophet is said to come to herald the coming of Messiah. And Elijah will answer all the questions, and perhaps the Messiah himself will answer each one of these Taikus. Now, there is a rabbi who wrote an entire book called Taiku, and it is basically an index or a catalog, I'm not sure it's a collection of all the Taikus in Shas. And when I first heard about this book, I became intrigued, very interested that someone would be interested in Taikus, and I read his the introduction, and I recorded it and published it on YouTube recently, but I read it in Hebrew, so I think many, some will understand it, some will not, but basically, to synopsize what he said in his introduction, is that he was inspired to make this book of Taikus because in order to get all the answers, you have to know all the questions. And it's not like you're just going to get all the answers and it'll tell you this is the question and this is the answer. No, it's not going to be spoon-fed to you. You have to know what to ask and then you'll be answered. That was one point in the book, in the introduction that I remember reading. And I agree with that a lot. And it's been said, I think some kind of catchy phrase, that there isn't any answer to a question that has not been asked. Meaning, of course, there's an answer, but you won't get an answer if you don't ask the question. And so that inspired me to follow his work. I have been for the past years, but several years, I don't know, 3-4 years. And so I think since 2021, but really I heard about this after the very first Taiku that occurs in Shas, which is in Tractate Brachot, Masechta Brachos, page 8a at the bottom of the page, a couple lines from the bottom. And that will, and with that introduction, that will take on a new project. I might call it the Taiku project, or I'll just go by each Taiku. This is the first Taiku, and I will read it, the text inside the Talmud, and record it, and then publish it along with my daily daf. It's part of my daily daf regimen. And without further ado, here we go. Taiku Aleph is... I have to get it here. Taiku, first of all, has a Gematria of 516, regular Hebrew Gematria. And so Taiku Aleph equals 517. And here it is. Brachot. The first Taiku occurs in Talmud Bavli, Tractate Brachot, page 8a. At the bottom of the page, a few lines from the bottom, it says, Amar Rav Huna, Bar Yehuda, Amar Rabbi Menachem, Amar Rabbi Ami. My dichsiv, ve'oiz ve'Hashem yochlu, ze ameniach sefer Torah v'yotze. The Gemara again returns to the topic of the synagogue. Rav Huna Bar Yehuda said that Rabbi Menachem said, that Rabbi Ami said. What is the practical halachic meaning of that which is written, they who forsake the Lord will perish? Isaiah 1:28. This verse refers to one who abandons the Torah scroll when it was taken out to be read and leaves the synagogue, as it appears that he is fleeing from God. Rabbi Abahu navik ben gavra legavro. Practically speaking, the Gemara relates that Rabbi Abahu would go out between one person who read the Torah and the next person who did so. Since the scroll was closed between readers, it was not considered to be a show of contempt. Boy, Rav Papa. This is the first takeaway right here. Boy, Rav Papa. Bein psuka, psuka mahu. Rav Papa raised a dilemma. What is the ruling with regard to leaving between one verse and the next verse? Is one permitted to leave during a break in a Torah reading while the verse was translated into Aramaic? Taiku. An answer to this question was not found, so the dilemma stands unresolved. Tishbi Yataris Kushis V'Vayos. That Tishbi, that Eliyahu Navi, will answer all questions and difficulties. And so that brings me back to something that should have been said earlier, is that this rabbi, his name is Rabbi Aharon Yehoshua Pessin. I believe he's from Ramat Bet Shemesh. I think so, but I'm not sure. I think I remember hearing that. So he published this book called Taiku in the year Tavshin Samech Vav, which was 2006. And that was right around the time, maybe a year after, or maybe that year, I don't remember, it was either 2005 or 2006, in either case, anyway, it's around the time of the disengagement of the Oslo agreements back in Gush Katif in Yehuda Shomron and Judah and Samaria and the settlements, and they were forced to leave, to evacuate, and that has something to do with I think the coming of Messiah. But there's something else I wanted to say, and I don't remember it right now, so maybe I'll remember it next time. But Rav Papa. This is just a bonus ha'ara, sort of. If you've seen some of my videos, you'll get the idea that I'm quite into Gematria. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people are Gematria people, some people are not. I definitely am a Gematria person. And a lot of my Chedushim, a lot of the things that I innovate in Torah are strictly Gematria. In fact, I think most things are, or maybe everything is. But there's an interesting idea that we talk about the Messiah, Mashiach, and so many things about this new tractate. The time it was started was at 358, the Avodah Zarah, and 358 has a numerical value of Mashiach, and this Taiku video started at 434, which is Gematria Mashiach ben David, the way David is spelled in Chronicles, and so Rav Papa is the first Amora in the Shas that asks the first Taiku. That's recorded. And the Gematria of Rav Papa is 363, which is the exact same numerical value of the word HaMashiach, the Messiah. So we say that Taikus are answered when the Messiah comes. But the very first Amora, who asked the very first Taiku, has a numerical value of the Messiah. Who made that happen?